Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Mas, the official podcast of Somos Mas NM and your source for the latest news and notes on New Mexico United and the New Mexico Runners. My name, of course, is Seth Bidoff. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on our socials as you do each and every Tuesday. We are, of course, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter this evening. Joining me tonight, as always, we have Jacob Terrell, Earl Nieto. Guys, appreciate you guys both being here. It's been a week. We've got some news to talk about. We've got some New Mexico United scores and matches to go over. And I do have one burning question for you this week. Earl, where's my refund? You're muted.
Working on it.
Okay. The sooner you can get me my money, the sooner I'd appreciate it.
So here's the funny part that people mistake very, very sadly. People mistake me for being the unemployment office, which I'm not. They also mistake me for having some kind of money. As Jacob can very astutely attest to, I work for the state. There's no money involved.
I think Jacob's going to avoid answering that question or avoiding that statement if at all possible.
Hey, I get paid just fine. So,
my burning question for Jacob is, what's in your fridge?
oh, let's see here. I won't be able to hear you, just so you know.
Okay. Bacon. There you go.
All you need is bacon.
Yeah, that's all you need.
OJ. Cotton candy grapes.
This is just a riveting podcast.
Did he say cotton candy grapes?
Yeah, he did. You've never had them?
Condiments.
Looks like there's fruity pebbles on the top or something. But yeah, no, they legitimately taste like cotton candy.
That's about it.
Earl was amazed at your cotton candy grapes.
So, one, I'm blown away by cotton candy grapes.
Apparently, they're incredible.
If you want to drive to Moriarty and just like give me one cotton candy grape, I'd be okay with that.
Just go to Sam's Club and buy you a pack.
Yeah, that's stupid. Number two, are those fruity pebbles on your fridge?
No. Honey Smacks.
Even bet. Actually, no. Honey Smacks taste like
honey.
freaking rotten milk.
Interesting.
I'll pass.
I'll
I
take
don't
some
need 'em.
Reese's Puffs, though. If you got some
I don't-
Reese's Puffs.
No, I've got.
If you have some
Yes,
of the big bag fruity Dino Bites, I'd be okay with that.
I have some Honey Nut Cheerios, some peanut butter Cheerios, some honey in a jar, a cookie jar that is currently empty, sadly, and a Kinder Egg.
Oh, my kids would take that in a heartbeat.
We bought 3 of them the other day for the 3 kids, and one of them threw a fit, so they did not get their Kinder Egg, and now it's just sitting up there.
Exactly. That's right. Earl went and grabbed something. I don't know what he grabbed, but
We don't want to know.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. Had an interesting evening this evening. My plans changed last minute, so yeah, it's been an interesting evening. Also, if anyone has a kid or may be interested in coaching Yaffle, please let me know.
I thought you were asking for their kid.
No,
You were just like, if anybody has a kid, I will take them.
No, I was gonna say if we have a kid that's interesting playing football, but the registration is well past due, and we can no longer add kids to our roster. So, yeah, I'm sure you guys remember Yaffle had some issues in the fall, and we're all over the news due to parents fighting. No, you guys don't remember that at all.
I don't. I pay very little attention to the news.
Okay, yeah, there was so Yaffle had some issues last fall with parents getting into fights and cops being involved. It was all over the news.
Why are you picking fights, Seth?
I had nothing to do with Yaffle last fall.
I mean, the backwards hat energy coming off of you is very douchey, if I'm being honest. So I can see why some fights were started.
I had nothing to do with it. I had absolutely nothing to do with it. Harry, what's going on, buddy? Glad to see you. Glad to see.
Oh
you in
yeah, I
the
was
chat.
out last week, huh?
Yeah, you were. We waited. We tried. We thought maybe you would get on, and you just weren't there in time. So
We didn't go until like 10:15. I didn't even try to get on.
yeah, no worries. Me and Earl held it down. Earl did a good job as always. So glad to see.
Well,
I don't know. Earl's been.
He's been more professional when I'm gone, to be fair.
Yeah.
Except for he can't figure out when he's muted and when he's not.
Yeah, step 1, Earl, unmute yourself.
Just never mute it. Make Seth work. Sorry, Seth.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's been an interesting weekend. There were we played out of Rio Rancho over the weekend at the sports. Like I'd never been there before, and due to the amount of rainfall in the area,
It didn't rain Saturday. What are you talking about?
It rained like all day Saturday.
It doesn't rain in New Mexico. You're full of shit.
I was in town Saturday. It rained in the morning and then it did not rain again. And like the game was perfect weather.
Game was fantastic.
Beautiful weather for the game.
Yeah, no, it was game was great on Saturday, but yeah, it like rained all morning Saturday morning. And yeah, the field out of the Sportsplex on Saturday was like completely waterlogged. Like it didn't matter where you walk, like you step down and you swish down into the ground. It's like a puddle of water around your foot. I had to stop and go after the game was over on Saturday. I had to go buy socks because my feet were so wet. I was like, this is miserable. But yeah, Rio Rancho PD got involved Saturday due to some issues. Yaffle only had 2 referees for every game apparently. Yeah, it just wasn't pleasant. So yeah, interesting weekend. Turns out our coach may be stepping down, so that's fun.
You're gonna step up?
I'm gonna step up. I don't know whether or not I'll be. Apparently there is a certified head coach position. I'm a certified Yaffle coach, but I'm not apparently a certified head coach. So I am not on vacation, Harry. I wish I was. I need to be.
He's just letting himself go.
So yeah, and then I had to pick up my son this evening unexpectedly. So he is here for an extra night. So yeah.
I want to say things, but I don't want to say things
on air
live. so
I don't know about what, but no, his mom had to work. So
okay.
Yeah, so he's here extra night this week.
That's
so,
what they all say.
So anyway, we've got a lot to get to this week. New Mexico United, of course, last week had 2 home matches again, and for the first time in club history, the club was on a 3-match home losing streak after the loss on Wednesday to Memphis 901 FC. In the history, the club had never lost 2 in a row at home. What did you guys? First of all, let me ask. I mean, obviously the home form has not been there this year. Were you surprised to see us go 3 matches in a row with losses at home?
No.
A little bit. It hasn't been, the home form hasn't been good, but it also, I mean, we had only lost, I think, 2 matches at home going into that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a shitload of draws. And when you watch the home games, it's usually a late collapse that has doomed us. We had the Birmingham game where we just kind of didn't show up. But other than that, they've all been competitive, and I thought we at least would fight enough to get some draws in there. So 3 home losses. The first 2 were the ones that I had the bigger problem with. Memphis. Full disclosure, I have not gone back and watched that match. But going into it, Memphis was, I thought very highly of Memphis. They've been a very solid squad. They've been in second place in the East most of the season so far, and when you look at our road form plus or our home form plus their form in general, it didn't necessarily line up to be a positive result for us. And thought maybe we could get a draw, but so going into that match, I wasn't super optimistic.
Yeah, I wasn't either. I want to say I know I predicted a 2-1 loss in that match. Earl, I don't remember what you predicted.
Who, Harry?
I think Earl said 3-1.
Cares?
Yeah, I think I said 3-1.
Yeah.
3-1 win?
No,
Saturday.
Earl said 3-1 loss.
You guys both predicted. No wonder we fucking lost.
No, I predicted. So
guys.
Wednesday, yes, I predicted a loss.
Yeah, you both predicted losses on Wednesday. That's what made it happen.
Well, yeah,
I mean, my gosh.
yeah,
Yeah,
I did
and
predict a
it's
loss because
I don't
we're going against the number 2 team in the East at home. Yeah, of course we're gonna lose.
Yeah, it was not a matchup that I had rated very highly for us, particularly with how we've been playing of late. So yeah, I think it was kind of an easy pick there to go against United. I definitely expected better out of us, but I felt like Memphis just came in and outplayed us pillar to post in that one. That's not to say that it was 100% bad, but Memphis was clearly the better team Wednesday night, just clearly. And we haven't said that a lot this season, where we've gone up against someone and said that team was the absolute better team on the pitch.
Exactly.
I mean, Jacob, you said you hadn't watched it. Earl, did you go back and watch that? Did you have any takeaways from that Memphis match?
I haven't had time. I'm gonna be honest. I've been neck deep in horse shit that it's just not even funny anymore.
Literal horse shit, or
I'm pretty sure it's literal horse shit. But at this point in time, I'm pretty sure it's just work.
okay.
And work is so far up my bundow that it's not even funny anymore.
No, give me a job. Pay me $60,000 a year. Give me a job. I'll help you out.
Good luck, because not even I'm making $60,000 a year, and I'm a manager.
All right, so Harry, this is interesting here. This is something that that I think is an interesting point. Harry thought New Mexico United would win against Memphis. Don't think the East is as good. As a whole, I agree with you, Harry. I don't think the East is as good top to bottom, but Memphis has been a good side all year long. I'm curious, Jacob and Earl, let's get your thoughts on this as well. And I want to see Harry's reasoning behind this, other than the fact that they feel like the East isn't as good. But is there a comparison between the East and West conferences here? Like, do you think that this is a matchup that United probably should have won?
I don't think so. To be honest, I really don't. I do believe the better team came out of it. As much as it chaps Jacob's hides a little bit, it's all right. Yeah, I mean, the East plays a completely different form of soccer that we don't see that often, especially out of the top clubs of that league, or conference. Sorry. So yeah. So, do I think the United should have won? No. Do I think they could have performed a little better? Yeah, absolutely. But it's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think that any top 5 ranked club in the East coming into New Mexico and playing us at home is almost guaranteed a win, just because of how poorly we do play at home.
Okay, let's calm down there.
I said almost.
It sounds like, Jacob, you don't agree with this.
No. So I think the East is at the top just as good, if not better, than the West. You look at Lou City, Memphis, Tampa Bay. I would even throw Birmingham and maybe Pittsburgh into that. They are those 5. I think those 5 with the top 4 or 5 in the East or in the West are clearly the best 10 teams in the league. Where the East shows its weakness is if you look at the standings currently. Our last place team, RGV Toros, or even our second to last place team, Orange County, they're both sitting on 27 points. That would be fighting for a playoff spot in the West. Well, not really, but it would be they'd be in 9th place in the West right now. instead of 13th and 12th respectively in the East. Sorry, I think I'm getting them backwards. They're 13th and 12th in the West. They would be in 9th place in the East. So the bottom of the East is just absolute garbage, which could inflate the top of the East's numbers because they get to play everybody over there twice. So when Lou City plays Red Bulls 2 or Atlanta United 2, those are easy points for them. Whereas we just played a team that's in 11th in Monterey Bay. We got the win. We looked really good. But that's a team that we've already played once this year. And I believe got the draw. No, did we get a win in Monterey Bay? Now I can't remember.
We drew the first time. Got the win the second time. Yeah.
So we got the draw over there. And they're sitting at 29 points. That would be 8th place or just below 8th place in the East. So they're a solid club. And that's where the two conferences kind of show their differences. Is I think the top of both conferences are comparable, but once you get to the bottom, it's no question the West is loaded from top to bottom, and the East there's a clear shelf. I mean, looking at the East right now, Detroit City is in 7th place with 39, and then there's an 8-point drop off from them to FC Tulsa in 8th place, sitting on 31. So there's definitely a more staggered tier system over there in the East as compared to the West.
So Harry is not wrong here. In the head-to-head, the West obviously has done better than the East in the interconference play. But yeah, there's just like you said, there's just a drastic drop-off in quality from the top 6, 7 in the East to the bottom 5.
And I know in the head-to-head, there's been some lower seeded clubs in the West that have taken points from some of the higher teams in the East, but I can almost guarantee you that the majority of the West versus East head-to-head stats that favor the West are literally anybody in the West playing those bottom 6 or 7 teams. Like you look at us, we played Memphis and lost, we played Birmingham and lost, we played Pittsburgh and drew, we played Miami and lost, we played Detroit City and drew. But then we've played Charleston and won. We played Red Bulls 2 and won, even though we were furious with it. We beat Indy 11. So all of our wins against the East have come against the bottom ranks, and our losses and our draws have come against the top. So there's just a clear drop off over there that I think if you dug deeper into the head-to-head West versus East stats, you would see that most of the head-to-head domination from us is coming because the bottom of the East is just absolute circus.
Yeah, I'll try to look up some of the stats here while we're talking. But yeah, that absolutely plays into what we talked about last week as far as our results. We played well.
I wasn't here last week.
No, you weren't. We were saying last week that United's record heading against clubs below the playoff lines as of last week, we were like 8-2-3, and against clubs that were 8-2,
7-2-3,
7-2, 7-2-3, and then against clubs that were above the playoff line, we're like 2-2-7.
Did Earl just correct you on a stat?
He might have. I had it written down. I don't have it memorized.
Wow,
but
wow.
Wow.
Well,
again, we had a very good conversation last week, and you weren't here for it. So,
yeah, I'm going to derail the shit out of it tonight. So,
United isn't getting results against the clubs that are in the playoff standings. I think, like I said, like 2, 3, and 7 is what we said last week, and so it just kind of plays into it, And I think that could be said for a lot of clubs, is that they're beating the clubs that they should, but they're not getting results against clubs that they need to get results against, I should say. And we were texting about this one the other night. I was texting it to these guys. Colorado just beat the Rowdies, and I was not expecting that result at all. To me, that one surprised me with how Colorado has been playing of late, particularly defensively. To see Tampa come out and lose right there. But yeah, again, it's head-to-head. I feel like the West is stronger than the East. you're going to have some anomalies in there, like that one there. I feel like that's an anomaly, even though Colorado is in the top half of the Western Conference. I truly believe that Tampa's a better club.
See, Colorado just has had a bad run of form, but they're the same talented team that I liked during the preseason and was high on going into the season. They're the same talented team that ran away with the West for a while to begin the season. They've just had a swoon. So seeing them lose to the Rowdies or seeing them beat the Rowdies isn't a shock to me. And I don't think it's a detriment to how the Rowdies are. I think
And yes, fine. Harry, we do need to get together and talk about how Triple H is running WWE now.
Didn't we already assume that? Or...
I'm sure we'll talk Clash at the Castle here at some point.
I can't wait.
Jacob has no idea what Clash at the Castle is.
Is it in Scotland?
It's in Wales.
Okay. That's part of the United Kingdom. Did you guys know that?
Yes, it is.
Did you know that, Earl?
Yes.
If you watched Ted Lasso, you would. Because that's the only way I knew it.
Look, if I wanted to watch someone lasso a Ted, I would have watched Brokeback Mountain.
I don't think their names were Ted, but if you don't watch Ted Lasso, that's you're missing out, bro.
Speaking of Wales, welcome to Wrexham debuts tomorrow on FX.
Yeah, no desire to watch that whatsoever.
No,
yeah,
how could you not want to watch that?
There's no knowledge of what the hell that is. So carry on.
It feels to me like they bought a team just to do a documentary. And so because it feels that way, if it's true or not, I'm just out for right now.
So our Welcome to Wrexham is a documentary series about Wrexham AFC, who plays in, I believe, the 5th tier of English football currently. They're owned by Ryan Reynolds.
And somebody else. I don't remember.
Rob McElhenney, yeah. But yeah, they went and bought the club, and they've been like all in on it. So yeah, there's a docu-series coming out. I'm assuming it's going to be similar to We Are Sunderland. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. That debuts tomorrow, so I'm definitely going to be watching that. But back to soccer closer here to us. I mean, yeah, it's, Memphis was a tough watch. Again, Earl and I both expected a loss out of this one. United definitely didn't play up to the standard that we thought they might. I think a draw there would have been a good result for us, particularly against Memphis and the way they've been playing. And coming out of that, I think there were still a lot of questions. I think there were still a lot of questions that Zach has to answer for. And Earl, I apologize. I haven't got the audio from Saturday's match out yet, but I did put out the audio from the press conference on Wednesday. And, I posed the question to Zach about a potential change in tactics and using the fullbacks, and the fullbacks didn't caught out of position a lot. And did you guys have a chance to listen to that and take his response in? And what did you think? No?
Sure, I got a chance to listen to it.
Yeah. Yes, I did.
Yes,
I did.
Look, like I said at the beginning of this thing, I've been about ears deep in work that to this moment I'm still doing work. Yeah.
Okay. So if you haven't heard it, go back and listen to the post-match press conference from Wednesday night. I felt like there were some really good questions. Zach actually gave some decent answers, some kind of insightful answers. I felt like talking about the form and the formations he was using and how he was employing the fullbacks. And so go back and give that a listen. We do have it out on the podcast feed. I will be throwing up Saturday night's audio as well.
Just a disclaimer. For those of you who decide to listen to Saturday's audio, there are some pretty dumb questions that are asked.
None of which were Earl, I believe.
No comment.
Okay. Moving right along.
If we get flagged by some other local media source, I didn't drop any names. All I said is there's some pretty dumb questions.
Heading into the weekend, United did, of course, bring in Monterey Bay FC. They drew against them earlier in the season, and on Saturday night, New Mexico United came out and picked up a 2-0 win, breaking the 3-match home loss streak. So good news there. Bad news, Christian Nava went down with an injury towards the end of the match. First of all, how did it feel to see the guys finally get a win again at home? Do you feel like we truly outplayed Monterey, and was it worth the potential loss of Christian Nava?
That's a shitload of questions.
Yes, I know.
So, how did it feel to watch the team get a win at home? It felt good, minus the fact that Isotope security is freaking crazy.
Yeah. So, or real quick, you did mention something about it. So, what exactly happened on Saturday with Isotope security?
They racially profiled Earl
because I'm white
and made him put the backpack back. That's what happened.
Yeah. So,
because I walked in just fine.
So the real story behind it is no, I was not racially profiled by the Isotope security. What did happen was I walked up like I always do with my backpack, which is a small little Nashville FC backpack.
You never take your backpack.
I don't have it here with me. It's in my office. I walked around the line like we always do, and I was told I couldn't bring in the backpack because of the Isotope's head of security new directive that we have to adhere to spectator rules. I kind of fought back. Yeah, I kind of fought back on it a little bit. Called my wife, she came pick up my backpack. I was going back around, and she then made me stand in the back of the line and wait for the spectator line to clear. So, yeah, I did address it with the club already, with more than one person of the club. And they said they would take care of it because there is an agreement with the Isotopes, whatever, that media can bring in their bags. So it's such as life.
So for those of you that don't know, the public cannot bring in backpacks. They're allowed to bring in clear bags, correct?
Yes.
They're allowed to bring in clear bags. And now I posed the question to David Carl back before the season when that policy was announced that clear bags had to be used. I said, look, do we as media have to use these clear bags? I said, because I'm not comfortable walking around with hundreds of dollars worth of equipment. You know, whether it's my pod track, laptop, camera, whatever the case may be. I'm not comfortable walking around with a clear bag. Dave's like, no. You guys, your media, you're excluded from that. You don't have to worry about it. So I'm wondering what happened and why suddenly Isotope Security is feeling the need to enforce this policy especially upon media. I mean,
I literally think it was just an Earl thing. Because I took mine in, no problems, skipped the line, walked right in. Everybody else that's media, aside from Ken, because he's old school and does a pad and paper, is going to have a bag with some kind of equipment in it, including the journal's photographers, and they were there. So I think it was a miscommunication where that Earl was just happened to be the one that got caught up in.
I think it's entirely possible. So hopefully Isotope Security doesn't have any issues again, because I mean that's kind of weird, kind of odd that happened. But Earl, fortunately, you were able to get into the game. They did let you keep your phone at least.
Yeah, at least that. I mean, I got to be at the game dressed. So that's always good. I didn't get any fingers where they don't belong, so that's a plus to some.
Yeah.
To some others, they may enjoy that, but I don't personally.
So
yeah,
Jacob, you were there with your family. You weren't down on the field or anything. Earl, you were. What did you see there at the end with Christian?
I saw Christian chasing the ball towards the stands or the seats, and then he tried to make some like maneuver, and all you hear is a loud pop, and then he goes down, and then the no, not that one, hold on, not that one, hey, we'll go with this one. The Durac of a keeper that
What the fuck just happened?
the keeper from Monterey Bay decided to clap when Nava went down, which I thought was very unprofessional. But then he did go back and offer to help Nava up. Nava obviously said to hold on, I got that one in here too. That one is he then told the keeper to Kuso Kurai. And to a Japario Tuna Ari. So, yeah.
Earl's having a stroke right now, so I'm just gonna mute his mic. And then
So legitimately, what those words were is how to swear around the world.
actually that says how to fucking swear around the world, but
Yeah, that too. So
All
one
right.
of those was Paraguayan.
and okay, so and then we did see Nava with some ice around his ankle, it looked like after the match. So I don't think it's ever good when you hear a pop like Earl described.
No, it's definitely not. I know several folks were confused on social media about
People were
the
confused
periods
on
around-
social media.
No way.
apparently. So yeah, you couldn't really you couldn't hear that on the broadcast, but you do see Christian kind of slide in and try to make a tackle, and you see his leg kind of get caught up under him. My initial reaction when I saw it was that maybe it was a knee sprain or something along those lines. But with you saying that it was his ankle, my concern is that hopefully it's not an Achilles or some other tendon issue there in the foot or the ankle, which could be a significant absence for Christian, as we've seen with Sergio and his Achilles issue. But yeah, some people were confused about why a sub wasn't used. And I know some other folks have answered that question already across social media, but we had already used all 3 windows available to us. So we couldn't make a substitution for Christian there. But I mean, aside from the injury to Christian, I mean, Jacob, what was your initial takeaway from Saturday night?
I thought we finally performed how we should have. And the crazy thing is, I thought for huge swaths of that match, we just dominated. We controlled everything that we wanted to control. They would get a few half chances here and there, but for the most part, we held the ball. We did what we wanted with the ball, and yet I still have concerns, if that makes sense. Our 2 goals came off of a beautiful free kick, obviously by Weehan. Just a absolute beauty of a goal there. And then a very weird deflection off of, I believe, a shot from Preston that maybe should have been an own goal. It's hard to tell when it gets blocked, when it gets deflected that close to where the shot originated from. It's hard to tell if it was going to be on frame or not, but it was a very big deflection. And so you look at those two goals and I think, man, that was, I mean, the skill on Weehan's shot is obviously impressive, but the rest of it is kind of lucky. And so you look at the problems that we've been having offensively and the fact that the 2 goals came off of a free kick and then a crazy deflection. And I'm still left wanting more because there were plenty of opportunities for us to put a couple more on the board, whether before the goals or after the goals. And we couldn't find a way to get it in the back of the net other than those 2 times, which sounds kind of greedy as I say it out loud. But at the same time, it's like, man, our offense needs to click. And while it looked really good and we scored 2 goals, it should have been more. I think if we're clicking on all cylinders, we score more. And so we're still not there. We're still not as good as we want, especially in the final third. And that does kind of concern me still.
Yeah, I can understand the concern, but you also have to look at the fact that was one of our best offensive matches in quite a while. 14 shots, 6 of which were on target. We haven't seen that type of accuracy in quite a while. Normally we're kind of scraping around trying to pick up, ones and twos here and there as far as getting on target, at least as of late. And so I felt like this was a really good chance, and we had some opportunities. And I want to talk about this too. The goal that wasn't. Oh my word!
Oh yeah, that should have been
that. I mean, the only thing, and I know the flag went up against bees, but and you made I think it was you that made a comment in our group chat saying that he wasn't interfering in the play. He wasn't, he wasn't in the line of sight. And that's not necessarily it. I think what happened was the referee assumed that because he was ahead of the play, the ball was going to him, and so he was going to play it. And so I think that's why the flag did go up. I'm not convinced that it's 100% the right call, even looking through the laws of the game. But I mean, how big would that have been for Armando if that goal had stood?
Well, I fully agree that it was called because Bees was so far off, and that it just, the refereeing isn't always the best in. I'm just going to say soccer. I'm just going to say all of soccer, not just USL, but just all of soccer. It's again, I think it's stupid that we only have 3 referees and only one actually is in between the lines and blah, 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 blah. But I will say that I don't think that ball was ever meant for Weehan. He was so far offside that Brucey had to have seen him offside. But I guarantee you Brucey saw Moreno on the other side of Weehan and played it to him. The only thing is that the defender might have taken a different path to Moreno if Weehan wasn't there. Weehan didn't get in his way, but he might have saw Weehan, ran to Weehan first until the ball got past Weehan. And so maybe, I don't know, that rule is kind of unclear on those kind of situations. But regardless of why the play call was called, it was a beautiful play. Moreno, I mean, it would have been huge for Moreno to get off the schneid there. He had some chances earlier in the first half, especially, which I look at your 6 goals on target that you mentioned and say, yes, but 2 of those for sure were on target, but were not good shots taken. The one of Moreno's, he had the keeper one-on-one, basically kicked it right at him. So that's an on-target shot, but wasn't dangerous whatsoever. I mean, and so the shots on target is better than we've had recently, but I was never like, oh man, that was, whew. Yeah. It was more like, what was that? Was my reaction to more of those shots on target than not. So had that third goal gone in, obviously we'd be singing a different, or had that third goal counted, I'd be singing a little bit different tune, but still just want to see some better finishing. And because I feel like we've had chances all year. I feel like we've had chances since the inaugural season. And the problem a lot of the times is just not been able to find the back of the net.
Earl, what was your take on how Preston played on Saturday night? I know he's been kind of an enigma, let's put it that way, in terms of his form. What did you take away from his performance?
I thought he played really good. I mean, obviously he catches the interception at midfield and then takes it in for a goal right after we score our first one. So that was obviously a motivation for him. But the rest of the match, I mean, he was just all over the place, just constantly doing something. He was here, he was there. He was constantly trying to get involved in the play. Constantly looking for the ball to either be the play or be part of, which is something we haven't really seen in a while. Usually we see the ball hit some kind of perennial brick wall or proverbial brick wall and at midfield and then just always play back to the keeper. We didn't really see that this past match. We saw it constantly in the attacking third, constantly players constantly looking to score. I mean, we definitely came out super hungry to put on a show in front of the fans for sure.
Yeah, Preston looked really good, and I feel like he had some really good instances throughout the night. Like you said, he got involved, got into the attack, made some pretty good runs going forward. You picked up on something else too that I didn't see on the broadcast. You said it looked like he had gotten into it with Kevon at one point. Can you talk a little about what happened, and did it kind of clear up after that, or was that something that maybe there's something like just like a lack of chemistry there?
It's probably just lack of chemistry, really. You figure you have two very good players in Preston and Frater. Both of them are constantly trying to make a play on the ball. So what happened there was Frater got a pass to him. He went to head it, and he headed it the wrong direction, and that's when him and Preston had some pretty colorful words towards each other. Did it clear up after that? That's to be determined because Preston got subbed off about immediately after that. So would it have cleared up? I'm sure it would have. Do I think there was some kind of miscommunication and lack of chemistry between the two? Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Frater, this is his third game, maybe first playing with Preston on the pitch with him. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some lack of communication in real game minutes. It happens all the time to the best of teams. I mean, we've seen Tom Brady sag his head down because Gronk wasn't catching the ball or running the right route for him. And those two have played together for 800 years. So yeah, do I think it was something minor? Absolutely. Was it kind of major at the time? I think it was, because it showed the other team that there was a definite lack of communication between the two, and it could have definitely been a target if they wanted it to be.
So Will Seymour missed the match on Saturday night. It was reported as being due to yellow card accumulation. We also know that he did take a hit on Wednesday evening. Do you think this was United just, kind of be like, okay, we're going to take advantage of this? He's going to be yellow carded, or you got the accumulation rule. Did we get any sort of update on him on Saturday?
No.
Okay.
No one asked really. It was mainly the health of Nava and the well-being of him. But obviously Zach had the very Zach answer of, we'll wait and see.
All right, Jacob, did you watch the match on Saturday in entirety, or did you kind of like just pick pieces of it?
Well, when you
I know you had your kids, so like
obviously. Funny story here. So we were pretty into it. I sat with my my buddy Will has season tickets, and the seats right next to his were available, so I picked those up. Had all three of my kids, my wife, my mom, and then Will, his wife, and their little girl, who's right in line with my two youngest. And then I don't know if you guys know John Clark, wrote a story about him in year one, battled health issues, was in a wheelchair for a long time, and now he's doing a lot better. He has season tickets in the front row right in front of my buddy. So we all sat there, we watched it. We were pretty invested in it. Kind of like when I'm down there on the field with Earl, though, you pick up a lot of good things. You pick up some good angles of things. You pick up the communication or lack thereof at times. But you also don't get like the broad sense of the game and the spacing and kind of what's really going on. So I went back and watched a little bit of the match here and there throughout the last couple days. But for the most part, it was just when I was there and I picked up, or I feel like I got a pretty good sense of what was going on. The funny story though. So when Weehan scored that free kick, the sky was absolutely incredible behind him. And so right before whoever it was that got fouled to produce that free kick got fouled, I said, I got to get a picture of this. And I had my camera bag with me. So I went to go get my camera, got it out, went to go take a picture right before we hand kicked, said memory card full, which was a crock of shit because I know it wasn't because I had just cleared it. And so I was like, what the hell? Popped that one out real quick, popped another one in. Right when Weehan was going to take the free kick for real this time, camera up to the face, click the button, memory card full. On another empty memory card for sure. So bottom line is I didn't get a picture of the goal or the celebration like I should have had my camera not been malfunctioning. And then while I was still messing with it, Tabor scores his goal. So I didn't see that until it was already in the back of the net. So the 2 minutes that really counted kind of sucked because I was distracted with the camera.
Emotional damage.
100%. 100%. But no, I thought I was able to catch the chat or catch the most of the match pretty good, and I was very happy with it.
I gotta ask now, and I'm asking as I watch the goal of the week nominees. Did Bees get gypped?
I mean, it's a great goal. I haven't looked at the other nominees, but at this point, I don't. If they know if they put United in there, United wins. So they don't always do it. I will say that though that real quick, this was my first time seeing.
It's Freighter! It's Freighter!
And so I have some thoughts on him, and I loved it. He looked fantastic. Very excited to have him back. And if he, I heard mostly good things about Wednesday's match too. So 2 matches in a row, him looking pretty good, coming in right off the bat, fresh, and think that could be a huge part for the second half or this final stretch of the season for us.
Yeah, he's definitely looked good. He definitely looks like he's fit, and obviously he's used to the hashtag altitude.
It's Freighter! It's Freighter!
And he's a guy that's seemingly going to be able to make a difference here coming down the stretch. So, yeah, he's looked good. I feel like he's had an impact, definitely. And you can see him getting frustrated when he's not quite getting the touch that he wants or not quite getting the shot that he wants. And I think that's something that we've needed to see from some guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we had you mentioned Seymour being out. Obviously, Rivas and Kiesewetter have been out for a while now. Nico was listed as questionable going into the match, and then obviously wasn't in the 18. So we were talking about the signing of Freighter right after Romario, and looking at the roster, we were like, well, what the hell's going on here? Well, we need that depth now with two or three attacking options, and then the release of Illich and whatnot. And so he's going to be huge when it comes time to the playoff stretch and trying to secure a home game if we want a home game in the playoffs, which is yet to be determined.
Well, there you have it. Saturday night, New Mexico United picked up a 2-0 win over Monterey Bay FC. And Jacob, you just mentioned the playoff push. And yeah, I'm looking at the USL. Nicholas Murray hasn't put out his playoff article yet for the week. But looking at the playoff standings, the matches remaining, New Mexico United does sit fourth in the table currently on 42 points. They we're 3 points behind Colorado Springs. Even level of matches with basically everybody that's in the playoff hunt currently. Although, to be fair, no one in the Western Conference is entirely out of it yet. I know RGV and Orange County have like a less than 3%. I'm pretty sure RGV has less than 1% chance according to 538. Orange County has a less than 3% chance. But both clubs are still mathematically in it. And New Mexico United's magic number appears to be right around 17 points, judging by the number of matches left from everyone else. There is a slight bit of separation now between New Mexico United and the playoff line. We are We have 8 points on El Paso and 9 points on LA Galaxy. And I mean, honestly, results keep falling our way. Looking at the possible points remaining, I mean, like I said, no one in the West is out of it yet. I mean, is there any chance at all, from what we've seen over the past couple of weeks, that you think there's going to be a shift at the bottom of the playoff picture, or do you think United gets a home match?
The United getting a home match is tough. Go ahead, Earl.
So yeah, probably the same thing you're about to say. United having a home match is something I don't want.
That's not what I was going to say, though.
Okay, good. Well, I didn't take your thought. And reason being, I know I'm a United fan, whatever. I should always be pulling for a home field advantage or home match at least. But the way we've played at home is not good. Yeah, we did just come off a 2-0 win. That was the first one since I think May or June.
It was July 6th. July 6th.
So yeah, so about a month and a half, a little over a month and a half that we hadn't won at home. That's something that worries me a little bit. So no, I don't want to have a home match. I would much rather sit in 5th place and travel to the 3rd-ranked team, which looks like Colorado Springs, and go from there.
I'm very confused by what you just said, Earl.
Maybe it was the 4th-ranked team. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, if we're in 5th, we play the 4th. If you were to ask me what was going to happen, it's going to come down to us, Sacramento, and Colorado Springs. 2 of us will get a home match. 1 of us will be on the road. Out of those 3, it's, I mean, who the hell knows? Sacramento is 2 points behind, but have a game in hand. Like you said, we're 3 points behind Colorado Springs, but we play them on Friday.
We have 2 matches in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, we do. And one's not till the very last game of the season, though. So that could be big, or it could be settled by then. Who knows? But we have a big one coming up this weekend. Saturday? Or is it Sunday?
Saturday.
Okay. And so that is, those 3 teams to me are kind of that I think San Antonio and San Diego are going to be up 1-2, and then 3, 4, 5 is kind of up for grabs, and then 6 and 7. Who the hell knows, man? 7 points separate 7th from 13th.
Mm-hmm.
10 points from 6th to 13th. Not unheard of. Most of the teams outside of the playoff picture right now have at least 1 match in hand on those bottom 2 teams that are in the playoff picture, if not 2 matches.
RGV's got 3
on El Paso, but they only have 2 on Las Vegas. So I think Las Vegas gets in. But that 7th place, I mean, I feel way more confidently that it's not going to be El Paso than I do that it is going to be El Paso, even though they're sitting there right now. They have the most matches played in the West. They have not been consistent. They have not looked great. You have a team like Phoenix who just hires a new head coach, and we know the talent that's there.
We're going to get to that here in just a little bit.
I figured. So who knows what they're going to look like. Kind of the same thing for Oakland. They've got a new head coach, or at least a new interim head coach. So who knows what's going to happen there. Los Dos is going to Los Dos. Monterey Bay is probably my favorite team out of the bunch, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run. Even though we beat them 2-0 on Saturday, I still think they're a quality club. And so that bottom part of El Paso, it wouldn't be out of the question to me that El Paso finishes dead last in the West. And right now they're sitting in a playoff spot. So there's really no telling what's going to happen there. But I do think we've got a decent chance of hosting a playoff game. We only have 3 of our last 8 matches at home, which can bode well for us if we can continue the road form that we've had all season. And so we'll just if gun to my head, we host a playoff game, and I want to host a playoff game, unlike the soon to be soulless robot of Earl over here. I really want that home game. I want that stadium to be packed. I want it to be loud. And if that's a detriment to the team, that's a detriment to the team. But I think the city deserves a chance there to host a playoff game.
Yeah, those 3 remaining home matches you talked about, we have El Paso, Los Dos, and Colorado Springs. So all of those are going to be interesting to see. And of course, on the road, we have Colorado Springs, RGV, San Antonio, Las Vegas, and San Diego. Earl, obviously, you don't want us to have a home playoff match. Is there any particular reason that you don't want that? And where do you think United ends up in the playoff standings?
You must work for Chris Walker.
No, I don't.
I literally told you why I don't want to play at home.
Because our farm hasn't been good.
Exactly.
And he's superstitious and annoying.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly like Jacob just reiterated. We play like
Did something happen? What just happened?
I don't know. Earl's trying to come up with something. So Earl, I've got a question for you while you're doing that.
we play like shice.
Earl, is there a reason why you don't win a home playoff match?
Yeah, because we play like shice at home.
Earl,
that's
we've
not
got a
true, though.
or we've got an interesting scenario here. Obviously, United hasn't played well at home. Do you think that changes with the playoffs?
No.
God damn it, Seth. Okay, so real quick, guys. Real quick. How many times at home have we been just flat out outplayed?
9.
Memphis and Birmingham. Well,
Yes.
yeah, I'd say those two.
Yeah, just those two, right? So 2 out of 13. Is my number correct there? 4, 4, and 5. Yeah, 13. We just haven't been able to hold on there. And so if we host a playoff game, our home record is going to have to improve. We're going to have to beat Colorado Springs. We're going to have to beat El Paso, and probably going to have to beat Los Dos. So assuming we host a playoff game, our form will be better. And that means I'm not nearly as worried about it as I might be like right now. And so I want to host a playoff game because that means we were playing better at home. So you just mentioned the final 8 matches there, Seth. How many points does United come away with in those 8 matches?
All right, let's see.
So Colorado Springs. In Colorado Springs.
In Colorado, I think we get a point there.
Okay. Home for El Paso.
I think that's 3.
Okay. Away at RGV.
That's 3.
Okay. At San Antonio.
Nothing.
At Las Vegas.
Trejo's gone. So I'm going to say 1.
Okay. Home for Los Dos.
1.
At San Diego.
0.
And then home for Colorado Springs.
I would say 3.
So that puts us at 12 points right there. That put us at 54.
Yeah.
I think I was pretty much with you there. I think Los Dos has a chance to be 3. And I think San Diego has a chance to be 1. Everywhere. And maybe, what did you say for Vegas? 1?
1.
3?
Yeah.
And I think that has a chance to be 3. So when I went through it a minute ago, I said 15. So I had one result there different than you did, and I think if we get anywhere between 12 and 15, there's a pretty good possibility we're hosting a playoff game.
Yeah, I'd say so. Looking at where everyone else is, if we end up on, okay, so you said 15, so if we end up 57, yeah, I think we definitely end up on a with a home match there. I think if we get 54, which really is we predicted this a few weeks ago. I said we'd end up around 51, 52.
Yeah, I was way higher. I said 60
Yeah.
something, but then we lost 3 games at home. So you can't lose 3 games in a row at home and get to that 60-point mark.
Yeah. I still think I'm being a little bit optimistic here with another 12 points, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. I still think we end up maybe 51. And I think that would be enough for a home playoff spot as well. Earl, how many points do you think United needs to get a home playoff match, and why don't you want one?
So just real quick while Earl seethes for a minute, if we keep up with our current pace this season, we're averaging about 1.61 points per match. That would put us at 54, 55 at the end of the season, which I think is for sure doable.
So Earl, my question to you: how many points?
I think that we need about 12 points.
Okay.
13 points to have a home match.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. I have all sorts of numbers from a few weeks ago when I did math, as far as like projected points based off of what mine was. I have to go back and find. I don't know where my notes are from that show, but yeah. I mean, obviously, United still has a chance.
So real quick, I was curious about the Sacramento schedule. Sacramento has Oakland, but then they are away at Lou City. They also have a U.S. Open Cup final match in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they'll lose that, so
probably, but they're still going to try, and that's energy that they're going to have to expend. The one good thing that Sacramento has had is that in the semifinal and then the final match, their next match has been against absolutely terrible competition in Charleston, and then after the final match, they get to host Loudoun. So those are scheduling gifts for them. But then they finish home for Orange County, away at San Antonio, home for Phoenix, at Los Dos, home for Pittsburgh, and then home for Loyal. So they do have a lot of home matches, but they have home matches against some tougher competition in Pittsburgh and San Diego for sure. Phoenix, like I said, I don't know what they're going to look like. And then they do have to go on the road to both San Antonio and Lou City. So I feel like our chances of hosting mathematically, if you just go by odds, are probably higher than theirs for sure. And then we may even pass Colorado Springs, depending on how those 2 matches against them go. I mean, we can pass them pretty easily if we can get 6 points out of those 2 matches.
Yeah, it's pretty tough into the season schedule for Sacramento there. But let's look ahead real quick for ours against Colorado Springs this weekend. Obviously, Colorado coming in after a win against Tampa Bay, 1-0 win there. Prior to that, they had not been playing particularly well, especially at the defensive end. We know what they're capable of. We know they have some talented forwards, especially. Looking at Saturday night in Colorado Springs, Jacob, what do you think happens in this match?
I think since it's in Colorado Springs, I feel pretty good about. Honestly, I'd feel pretty good about our chances, even if it was here this weekend. They're a team that gives up a lot of chances and a lot of goals. You mentioned that defensively they've been struggling. Just to put it into perspective, before the Rowdies match, they had given up 3 to Sacramento, 4 to El Paso, 3 to Orange County, 4 to Phoenix Rising, 3 to Charleston Battery, 3 to San Diego Loyal, and 2 to LA Galaxy. Also 1-0 loss to El Paso before that, and a 3-2 loss to San Diego. So that's a lot of goals. If you weren't keeping track there, it's a lot of goals in a few handful of matches there. And so I feel like you look at that, you look at our attacking options that we have. If we can just put it together even a little bit, and that's a team that might be a team that we can get right against offensively, and so I see us going in there and probably controlling the match pretty much like we did Saturday. It's just going to be a matter of finishing and containing Haji Berry, and I think that we've got a pretty good chance of doing both of those.
Earl, how do you feel about our pacing options at the back, and do you think we can slow down guys like Haji Berry?
I think so. If we go with the same lineup that we did on Saturday, I feel confident about our chances. If we have a strong midfield like we did, we're definitely pretty decent.
Well, I mean, we're definitely going to have to do something. Obviously, with the injuries that we have. Do you think maybe Ratty gets a shout here? And do you think that he's a guy that can match up against Haji Berry?
I would love to see Ratty. Don't get me wrong. Do I think he can match up with Haji Berry or Elvis Amo or Michi Galena? No, not at all. Those are probably some of the fastest people.
Look at Earl coming in with names from the opposing team.
Yeah,
I've done my homework.
And pronouncing them almost correctly.
Who did I mispronounce?
It's Amo, I believe.
Amo,
But-
close enough.
Potato, exactly.
Whenever Colorado Springs gets Lesane right, then I'll pronounce Amo right.
Well, we'll never know
Lesesny.
because he's not here anymore, so we'll never know.
Lesesny, like lasagna, but whatever. So yeah, I don't think that Ratty can pace with those guys. I think he does get burnt. So I'm hoping that he has someone strong behind him that can definitely step up and slow something down right there.
Well, Ratty wouldn't be faced up against him anyways. Ratty plays that Suggs, Swartz. Occasionally we'll see Yearwood out there, and they're asked to do more than just defend. So you really, especially in a back four, you're really looking at Ryden and Swahi or Tete or Yearwood, depending on what we go with. And also Colorado Springs hasn't really been using Haji as like a 9. He's been more of a false 9 or a 10, kind of dropping back and pulling strings and letting the wings kind of attack. And the names that Earl mentioned earlier, Amo and Michi, they're going to be the speed on the outside and let Barry orchestrate with them. But then if we drop back to deal with that speed on the wings and spread out, Haji will definitely take advantage of the space that we leave in the middle there. So the thing with Haji is that he can do a bunch of different things. So even though they've been using him in that way for most of the season, we have seen him make some pretty good runs up the middle and into the channels and play a more forward number 9 role. And so you just have to be ready for anything with him. And that's going to be tough. It's to me, it's going to come down to more of the midfield. And if they can control that possession and control the ball and not let the midfielders of Colorado get in a space where they can make those passes to the runs of Amo and Barry and Michi, and that's going to be where it boils down to. Because if Colorado Springs against anybody, if the midfielder gets in those positions to make those passes, those front three are going to destroy teams at times. You cannot stop all three of those with a back four or a back three or probably even a back five. If the midfield gets time to make passes and see the field and see those runs, then they're gonna get open and they're gonna get chances. So So really, it's going to come down to Portillo, who I thought looked good this last match, and I'm really, really, really happy to have him back. I really liked Sam playing on that back line more than in the midfield, and more out on the side, out on one of the wings, and as opposed to a more central role, and wouldn't be opposed to having him there. But I think Ratty and Yearwood would be better suited defensively for those positions. Sam's not the fastest; he's more of a cerebral. Hold on, I think if I take another drink, I'll have better speech.
Sure, let's try that.
Cerebral. See, told you. He's more of a cerebral player instead of a quick player, and we need speed out there, especially on those wings to protect against those front three. And so I think the speed aspect of our back line is going to be in trouble if we get put in a position where we can get burned there. So the best way to defend against them is to just not let them have the ball and get in those positions. And when they do get the ball, you get your ass back. I don't care what else is going on. You don't even worry about trying to press high and get the ball back if you're that back line. As soon as they get possession, you're backpedaling your ass off or turning around and sprinting back to that 18-yard box.
Yeah, that transition is going to be really important, especially against the pace from Colorado. And they've got guys in the midfield. You talked about it a little bit, guys like Cam Lindley, guys who are playmakers, guys who are going to be able to put that ball into the dangerous areas. And it's going to be real interesting to see how we handle the pace on Saturday. Earl, what's your scoreline prediction for Saturday evening?
So, in the last 11 times that United has played Colorado, do you know what the record is?
Let me see. We've probably won 7 of them, at least.
You said how many times? 11?
11.
I think it's 8-0-3.
I'd say
Okay,
6.
You're wrong.
6-1-2.
You're also wrong.
That was not enough games. That's why that was wrong.
Yeah.
Let me try that again. 6-2-3. Oh,
You're
that's
also
still not
wrong.
games. 6. How many have we won? Damn it.
We've won 8 times.
Okay.
I had the 8.
We've also lost twice, and we drew once.
Okay. I thought we had a couple of draws in there.
No, you're probably
Because I know
to-
last year when we played them 4 times last year.
Mhm.
I believe we won, lost, and drew, and then apparently we drew. I thought we drew twice, but apparently somebody else had a victory in there, and I think it was us actually.
You said we
So
played them 4 times?
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did play them 4 times.
2-1-1.
The last time we played them September 4th, 2021, we won 3-2. July 9th when we played them, 3-1. June 25th, like the week before, we lost 3-1. And then May 21st, we beat them 3-1.
So we were
That's
3-1.
right,
Okay.
So
I remember
my score
3
prediction.
I remember 3-1 being a headline there because I remember
Yeah.
going into the last game. I think we all predicted 3-1 because I had been the first 3 goals or first 3.
So
matches.
looking back at their 11 prior matches, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 11 matches they've won 3-1. So 3-1.
What the fuck have you done with Earl? What is this alien?
This is all him. I
know.
haven't
No, not
coached
you.
him at all.
There's an alien that has taken over Earl's body that is obsessed with professionalism, and it's weird.
All right, Jacob, what's your scoreline?
Yeah, I think 3-2. Us. I think we finally get over the hump a little bit offensively, and then they score. They can score when they want to, and we saw that the 4-4 El Paso match here a couple weeks ago that was just batshit insane.
Yeah.
Go up 3-0 in the first 10 minutes, go down 4-3, and then tie it at the death. They just play some crazy games. So I think this is also a little crazy, but we hold on for a win and we get that 3-2 victory.
So also adding on to my score prediction, I do believe that Freighter scores finally this season. The last 2 times that he has played against Colorado,
Who?
Freighter.
Freighter! It's
Exactly.
Freighter!
See, I don't have the cool
It's
button,
Freighter!
so
It's
um,
Freighter! It's Freighter! It's Freighter!
I will take the button away from you, sir.
Sorry, go ahead.
anyways, so the last 2 times that Freighter has played Colorado, he scored on them.
Yeah, he had a hat trick against him.
Dating
year
back
one.
to May 18th, he hat tricked them. And then May 29th, he scored in the death to tie or to get the game winner. So
Yeah, Freighter's done well against Colorado. We will give him that.
So I think Freighter at least picks up 2.
Interesting. Okay, 2 for Freighter. All right. Colorado has issues at the back. Now, obviously, they look better against Tampa Bay. I don't know what happened with Tampa Bay on that one, but Colorado has issues. They've given up a lot of goals lately. They really have, and that's a dangerous thing to do, especially against a club like United, who has guys that can get forward and can put shots on target. I'm going to say, and we are better at the back than a number of these teams that Colorado has faced lately. We're especially better at the back than El Paso. So I'm gonna.
El Paso has Yuma playing real minutes in the back right now.
Yeah.
So that just tells you where they're at.
Yeah, they really do. So I'm gonna say 2-0. 2-0 United on the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you fuckers go from having us lose Wednesday to handily winning on the road at a team that is ahead of us?
Because Memphis is a good team.
So is Colorado.
A really good team. Colorado is a roller coaster ride right now at Six Flags.
Colorado has not been good of late. I think Memphis is better than Colorado.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But
so yeah, and I just feel like Memphis has a lot more going for them. So I mean, it's easy to pick against United in that one. So, all right, there you have it. That's our scoreline predictions for this weekend against Colorado Springs. You've heard our recap of Memphis and Monterey Bay over the weekend. I do have one final topic I want to talk to you guys about before we get out of here, and that is the alleged tampering by Phoenix Rising FC with new head coach Juan Guerra, who was at Oakland Roots SC until this week. Obviously, nothing has been done by the league to this point. No one can seem to find any rules directly tied to coaches and tampering as far as that goes. First of all, I mean, the question here is, did Rising overstep in their attempts to bring in Juan Guerra?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know what happened behind the scenes. It damn sure seems like it. Juan was suspended from Oakland basically before any of this came out, which seems to me they were not happy with something that he did. Timing would tell me that it has something to do with this little transaction here. Phoenix fires their coach. This happens. It seems fishy from the outside, but much like this is where I'm going to separate myself from the Phoenix fans. And instead of sitting here going, they're pieces of shit. I can't believe they're conspiring against us. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to say, hey, I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt since nothing's happened. And if something comes out and you guys get in trouble, then I will be like, oh, okay, you guys fucked up. Which, of course, if we play out that scenario in our heads for a minute, USL finds out they tampered, comes down on them. Vagina Plaster will soon tweet that the USL is out to get them and that it was bullshit. And then we just fuel the Phoenix Rising fans' fire for their hatred of this league and other teams in it. So let's hope that happens, because when Phoenix Twitter melts down, it's one of the more entertaining things in the world.
Well, Earl, this was obviously collusion on the part of New Mexico United. The fact that Rick Shantz got fired, and then the league may or may not be investigating Phoenix Rising for the potential collusion and tampering of Juan Guerra. How badly was New Mexico United implicated in this, and how does that impact their ability to host a home playoff match?
Well, you see, it's always United's fault. it's always United's fault. If the sun rises on the east, it's United's fault. If the sun is covered by a rainstorm, it's also United's fault. So really,
Phoenix doesn't see rain. What are you talking about?
I can actually care less about Phoenix, and from what I've seen, this Juan Guerra character wasn't that great in Phoenix anyways. That's why I let him go. So for him to come back, stay the course, I guess.
I think it's hilarious that Rising fans were like, yes, let's get him. Rick took this team to unimaginable heights in 2019. As much as I hate to give them credit that year, they won 20 games in a row. They won 20 matches in a row. Didn't lose for 20 matches. They won 20 matches in a row. That's fucking insane. And they have one bad stretch in the 4 years that he's coached there, and the sky is falling, and they're doomed to hell. And get rid of them and making tifos to get him out of there. Just fucking crazy stuff. And I have found that in sports, not always, but a lot of the times, karma comes to bite you in the ass. So when this Juan Guerra project falls flat on its face, and they are even worse in the next couple of years with him than they were with Rick this year, I'm going to laugh hysterically.
Yeah, Juan Guerra, it's an interesting hire to say the least. Obviously, Oakland has not necessarily been great this season. I feel like they started to play a little bit better, but I mean they've won one of their last 5, which of course was over El Paso, and that's not necessarily saying a whole lot at this point. How much of a difference does Juan Guerra make to Phoenix Rising?
No, I just said he's going to be worse than Rick. They might see an uptick for a few matches because a lot of the times when you're struggling and you make a coaching change in sports, it just kind of lights a fire under players, and they tend to play a little bit better, and they might try a little harder and might get some results here. But in the long run, I think they made a mistake. And now I say they made a mistake, but at this point, there was no way Phoenix could keep Rick Chance, right? I mean, they would have had a mutiny. Like from a football tactics standpoint, they could have and probably should have. But from a fan standpoint, if you want your fan relations to not be an absolute disaster, which I think they will always be with the Rising fans that are in existence, it had to happen, whether it was this year or at the end of the season. I think it had to happen. So I'm with the move now. I just think that the fans were stupid for wanting it so badly, and they're the ones that are going to suffer when the team doesn't reach the heights that they had under Rick, and they're going to cry about it because they're not making the playoffs. I said that they would make the playoffs, or said that they could make the playoffs. I'm going to say with this coaching move, they're not going to make the playoffs.
All right, so I have to actually correct myself.
Okay.
I think them and El Paso both missed, just for the record.
Juan Guerra was never the head coach of Phoenix.
No, he was not.
Nope.
He was the assistant in 2021, which they did kind of decent. They did lose in the first round, but whatever. But I still don't think that he's going to. I think he'll stay the course of what he did at Oakland, where since August 18th, he's won 6 games. Or he's picked up 6 points. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Misread.
And I still think you misspoke a little bit.
I might have. I don't know.
August 18th was 4 days ago. So if they got 6 points in 4 days, that's
August 9th.
Good.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's the hire that Rising fans think it's going to be for them. Garrett, he's still, to me, very much unproven. I mean, obviously, Oakland thought highly enough of him to bring him in over there and give him the head coach opportunity, but I just don't know that he's going to be able to get enough out of Rising to get them back into a playoff spot. And I honestly think they made the wrong decision to let go of Chance. I really do, because I think it's more an issue of they had problems on the pitch with their what's the right word? What's the word I want?
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, they weren't performing. They weren't. Their execution wasn't there. They lacked pace at the back. And part of that's on Shantz, part of that's on the front office, part of that's on the players on the pitch, and so the issues weren't necessarily with the coaching. I think it was more with the expectations and the actual performance that they were seeing. So, I mean, yeah, I know people talk about bringing Rick Shantz here. I'm like, no. I mean, but at the same, winning cures a lot of ails, So, I don't know that I would want him here, but I know there are some people that would, and I just, I don't think this is the hire for Phoenix. I don't think it's going to work out. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see it being a good thing for them.
Yeah, I think we all agree there. Maybe, or I don't know what Earl's take is, but I think we all agree there.
Earl, what's the key to United making the playoffs and getting a home match?
And can we win a home match?
Can we win a home match? Depends how our midfield plays. If our midfield plays the way we did this past weekend, then yes, we can. The keys to a home match is obviously winning games.
And how do you go about winning games, Earl?
Here, stupid son of a bitch. Hang on, I got you right here. Hold on. Hang on. Let's see. Manje caca.
I have no idea what that means, but
Means eat shit.
Earl, do you think United has a goal of 15 wins this year? Do you think they make that? Do you think that makes the playoff run possible?
Where are we at? I don't know where the fuck we're at on game.
We have 11. We have 11 right now, and we have 8 games left.
Yes.
Okay. That's all that I have, Earl. I just wanted to make sure we had your take on record as far as United making the playoffs and why you don't think they should host a playoff match.
Oh, I know we make the playoffs. I mean, we would have to shit the bed or chance the bed in order to miss. And even then, it's a very, very far chance that we still miss. I just don't want to play a home game. That's for sure.
All right. I think that's just about do it for us here this evening. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Jacob, get us out of here.
Yeah, you malacas.
I don't know where to go with that, Earl. I was trying to think of something, and it's just not gonna happen. So, those of you that watched us live, appreciate you guys. Those of you that joined in the chat, which I believe tonight was just Harry, if I'm not mistaken, was it not? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Harry, we love you like always. Next Tuesday, 9:00 again. Hopefully, all three of us will be here. Barring
episode 99.
Unforeseen circumstances. You should have known that was coming. Tuesday, 9:00. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Facebook and YouTube if you want to comment and chat with us live. Hopefully we will be talking about 3 points on the road against Colorado Springs and move into a tie for third place at least. And so hopefully we can do that. And maybe, I don't know, when this what is it? Clash of Clans, Castle Clash, Castle something Castle is, but
Clash
maybe we'll talk
at
about
the castle.
Clash at the Castle. Close enough. Clash of Clans, whatever, man.
Speaking of Clash of Clans, can we talk about my fort?
Hell no, we can't talk about your fort and Clash of Clans.
So real quick, are we doing fantasy football this year?
I mean, I am. I don't know if we're doing one with us.
Okay.
I know we kind of had mentioned it. I'm down if we want to.
All right.
But
let's put it out on Twitter. Let's get some folks.
Okay. You want me to put the league together?
Yeah, if you want, go for it.
Okay. I will do it on ESPN because that's what I do.
Are you going to do a stupid snake draft or auction draft?
No, I will do a snake draft because
Good.
unless a lot of money is on the line, I don't want to put 5 hours into an auction draft right now. So yeah, we will have details on that next week. And look on Twitter and Facebook and stuff for details sooner than that. So Tuesday, 9:00, we'll be back, hopefully talking about 3 points. And until then, it's almost news.